Good morning, everyone. You are watching Barnstable This Morning. It is time now for our Business Barnstable segment. And this week's guest, I welcome on the phone Cape and Islands Workforce Investment Board Executive Director David Augustinho. David, good morning.
Good morning, Sarah.
How are you today?
I'm excellent, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine. So, David, there's been a lot of talk here on the Cape about the changing demographics and the kind of exodus of young people, and something that you wanted to touch on a little bit today, and things that you're learning are not necessarily unique to us here on Cape Cod. So tell me a little bit about what you've got going on.
Last week, Sarah, I went to a meeting of the New England Economic Partnership, and the partnership consists of the 6 New England states, and these meetings take place about twice a year. And what happens is each state has a chief economist who presents information about their state, and usually there's a theme to the conference that they all respond to. They also bring in a national economist to speak. They use Mark Zandi from Moody's, who's an excellent speaker. So I was there last week, and one of the things that they talked about was how all of the New England states, all 6, are losing population in that 25 to 44 year cohort. And since 1990, we're losing population in general. So New England has been losing population since 1990. Our share of the United States population declined from 5.3% down to 4.7%. So about half of a percentage point of population that we've lost as a percentage of the United States population.
Interesting, and really interesting. It's something, David, that we've thought is kind of unique to us here on Cape Cod, but looking at not only not unique to the Cape, but not unique to Massachusetts. We're seeing this happen all across New England.
Right, and so within that cohort that we've been focusing on, at 25 to 44, all the New England states have experienced double-digit declines in that population over the last 20 years, and all 6 of the New England states have, as a percent of their population, that 25 to 44 is below the United States average. So it really isn't just a Cape situation, and I think our numbers may be a little higher than some of the other states. And of course, there are pockets of here in New England where young people are still being attracted. Obviously, Boston being one of them. And actually, I think Portland, Maine, also has a fairly young population. But in one way, it's not comforting, but it's good to know that we're not alone in facing this shift in our economy. And I think what it leads me to conclude is that there may be avenues for some cooperative activities that could be region-wide.
Indeed. Well, I really think that it's no question, David, that the cost of living is something that is a huge factor in looking at why young people are not choosing to settle here. I mean, especially here on Cape Cod, our housing prices are astronomical, and then the average year-round salary isn't, it just doesn't balance out. So when you look at the cost of living of not just Cape Cod, but New England as compared to, some of maybe the southern states or the Midwestern states, there's certainly a big gap there. It is not easy for the 25 to 44-year-old to make a living and be able to live and have all the things that one needs or wants in this part of the country.
No, housing costs and heating costs are higher here than most other places. And as you say, the numbers, we're losing population to places like North Dakota, believe it or not. North Dakota has a pretty healthy job situation, especially around energy industry. So, there are other places. So costs are lower and more jobs is a pretty winning formula for other places. But that doesn't mean that there aren't things that we could do to help the situation here. One of the things that they talked about at the conference I was at was that education, and trying to do a better job of providing a reasonably priced education, concentrating on that pre-K to full college education for our residents, and then trying to keep them here when they're finished by applying technology effectively in many areas and stuff. So there, people have already been thinking about some potential ways, opportunities to be able to kind of stem this tide, and I think it's worth perhaps working with some of the other areas in New England to see if we can't cooperatively put some effort into this situation.
Sure. So kind of take a look at perhaps what other towns, other states are doing to combat this trend and see if perhaps a unified front might make a difference. Here on the Cape, David, what do you see as perhaps some baby steps, some action steps that we can take to at least try and quell it? I know the young professionals have done a great job at paying attention to this issue and seeing what can be done and really raising some awareness. But it's definitely, where do we go from here?
Yeah, I think in general, I think that our ability to build on the environment here, I think that a lot of I mean, look, bottom line, we need some jobs in technology areas that, especially if they could be marine science related, marine technology related, that would be great. That builds on some of the natural assets that we have down with HUI and marine biological laboratories. So I think if we can add a number of technology type jobs and others, that would be the first key. And then I think we need to work on how we provide an infrastructure, and by infrastructure, I don't mean just buildings and things like that, but I mean like a social infrastructure that younger adults would respond to and would feel supported, and would have a sense that this is a place where they can thrive and meet other like-minded individuals and like-aged individuals. So
indeed. And we're already, David, we are already seeing kind of attempts to create that social structure or enhance that social structure. We're seeing, I think, over the past couple of summers, we've seen definitely more of an effort paid to what the younger population wants to do and what their needs are, and creating some events and some social interaction opportunities that have certainly improved things for that demographic, at least in what I've seen anecdotally. Yeah,
and I think what we can do is work to create that environment, and then it kind of takes off itself a little bit. One of the things that we're doing now, Sarah, is there are a number of individuals working on boosting the creative economy through a lot of efforts. That's in other places, that's really been a gateway to being able to attract and retain young families, is through the creative economy, and which includes graphic arts and some other activities that are technology related.
Absolutely. So many options. I think, David, too, housing, another piece of the puzzle that's going to play into that, and whether it's, more affordable rentals or a different way of looking at things, certainly that's another big piece of the puzzle as well. Yeah,
of course, and I'm a little prejudiced. I don't even talk about affordable housing. I talk about worker housing.
Yes.
We need housing that matches up with the wages that many people are earning, but we need housing that is available to young people, so that at a rate where they can still save enough money to eventually be able to purchase a home.
Indeed. I think that there's definitely a hole. I mean, even looking at the rental rates for regular homes, and then even the affordable rental rates, it's still in the $1,100, $1,200 a month, which for someone just starting out is nearly impossible to make. So I think that will, definitely looking forward to seeing maybe some motion on that in the future.
What we would hope.
We would hope, indeed. Well, David, I thank you so much, as always, for joining us here on Barnstable This Morning. Fascinating conversation, as always, and we will talk with you again sometime very soon. Have a great day.
You too, Sarah. Thank you very much.
Thanks, David.
Bye.
Bye-bye. David Augustinho, of course, is the Executive Director of the Cape and Islands Workforce Investment Board. You can visit them online at CIWIB.org. For Barnstable This Morning, I'm Sarah Holt.